Lena, show me how the mobility of your upper limbs looks like.
I lift my arms like this. I need support. I have to have a point to lean on. With my elbows, if I rest my hands here, I can make this movement. It's similar on the left side. I have to lean my hand here. And this is how I move my hands. That's all.
And how does the mobility of your lower limb look like?
The movement with my feet is like this. As you can see, my right foot is slightly rotated. The left one is in slightly better condition. The tension in my knees is also noticeable. I can tense the muscles, but I can't lift my legs up. When analyzing the topic of rehabilitation in SMA, it's important to listen to the voice of patients who know this disease best. That's why I'll be narrating this film. Hi, I'm Lena from Poland, and I've been struggling with SMA for as long as I can remember. In short, spinal muscular atrophy is a genetic disease that takes away muscles, strength, and breath, but not the passion for life. In recent years, knowledge about this condition has greatly expanded. Medications that slow down its progression have been developed. Physiotherapists who want and are able to properly care for people with SMA are also increasing. From my perspective, there's another crucial element that I can't imagine functioning and fighting this disease without. I'm talking about rehabilitation equipment, specifically the Pragma System. Patients with SMA are in very different conditions. It all depends on the type of disease, when it was detected, how quickly it progresses, and what kind of help they received. In my case, treatment came late, and for many years, I didn't receive any therapeutic help. As a result, I have to deal with many problems. I move around in an electric wheelchair, have severely limited mobility, significant scoliosis, and contractures. Without the right equipment, my ability to engage in therapy is minimal. Previously, my rehabilitation consisted only of passive exercises, knee and elbow joint stretches, and occasionally massages. It caused me a lot of pain and discomfort. I was also strongly discouraged and resigned because my condition didn't improve at all, quite the opposite. The greatest satisfaction, and as my recent tests confirmed, also the best results I achieve when I perform exercises myself, because the most effective rehabilitation is my own movement. And it's precisely the equipment that I have installed in my apartment today that gives me unlimited access to the rehabilitation that I like. Using a few of my exercises as an example, I'll show you how versatile Pragma is and how many different movements I can do on my own, or with a little help. Without Pragma, it's impossible. I start with exercises for the upper limbs, which I usually perform in a wheelchair. I start with selecting rubber bands of appropriate elasticity. Then the rubber bands need to be connected to the device. The choice of this place is not accidental. The key to changing my rehabilitation was using relief. Specifically, I use rubber bands with different resistance levels that relieve and support movement, so even my smallest muscle tension is visible. Only after using the rubber bands did I see how much more I can achieve, because as we know, the body gains freedom and lightness in relief. My therapeutic program is based on a wide range of exercises. We aim to activate as many muscles as possible. As you can see, even with just the upper limb, we use many accessories and configurations, not limiting ourselves to the use of rubber bands alone. In this exercise, the bar is suspended on stiff strings. I place my hands on it, and the rubber bands assist in lifting the limbs up to elbow height. With a different rubber configuration, it provides resistance and forces me to exert greater effort. In this exercise, I pull my hands to my chin and try to maintain muscle tension for about 3 seconds. Now back to the exercise with the bar. This time, my goal is to lift my elbows and tense my shoulder muscles. The bar serves to support my hands, and I can squeeze it as much as possible. Here, I also try to maintain muscle tension for several seconds, performing 10 to 20 repetitions without overexerting myself. The Pragma design allows for perfect matching of the length and tension of the rubber bands to my needs. Do you remember how at the beginning of this film, I showed you the limited range of motion I could achieve with my upper limbs? Compare that to what you see now. It's my muscles that lift and lower my elbows. It's my potential and enthusiasm that gain turbocharging thanks to the band's involvement in this exercise. Now, a few more contractions with increased resistance. And after a while, a new movement and more muscles are forced to work hard. As you can see, my training is highly varied. Pay attention to how the positioning and length of the rubber bands change constantly. I have no problem with this movement either. I use more Pragma accessories. I have upper limb cuffs on my hands, perfectly adjusted to the size of my wrists. On my elbows, I have Velcro adjustable bands for the necessary size. To avoid getting bored with this therapy, I spice it up with some fun, such as playing with a soft ping pong ball and paddle. Although the paddle is a bit heavy, I won't give up. Now, a bit of boxing exercise. I am not only working on my movement but also my accuracy and reflexes. I always raise the bar higher. This exercise is good for stretching my contractures. I perform a bend and then try to throw a ball as far as possible and catch it with my other hand. Here, I also work on precision of movement and reflex. See, the bands are attached in a different place again. Proper adjustment allows me to perform various activities and movements. And sometimes, as a form of therapy, I eat a meal or drink tea. We're still focusing on the upper limbs, but this exercise also engages the back muscles. Special rollers on the Pragma column enable the bands to work their full length. This is very important because flexibility is essential for these exercises. Since I don't have enough strength to maintain muscle tension, in this case my hands, the gloves will help me hold the bar and force my arms to participate in the exercise.
1. Just like now. And 2. Very good. And 3. Maintain tension. And 4. Very good. 5. Great. 6. 7.
Let's move on to exercises for the lower limbs. We start by putting on and adjusting the cuffs. We attach the bands and adjust their tension. My legs behave completely differently when unloaded. It turns out that I can perform quite a few different movements.
1, 2. Make wide circles. Try to do them symmetrically. Very good.
I mentioned earlier that I have severe contractures. They force me into a certain position during lower limb exercises. For me, the fact that I have activated these muscles with Pragma is already a huge progress. For many years, no one has proposed any therapy where I would move my legs independently. And although the range of motion is relatively small, I know that I will be able to improve it with hard work.
Bravo. Now Lena will do the next exercise. Try to tighten your muscles 10 times so that your feet touch each other. Let's start. 1, 2. Remember to breathe. 3, 4.
During these exercises, I engage much more than just my leg muscles. I try to force the biggest possible movement by also tensing my entire body. My hips and abdominal muscles are working. As you can see, I am also using my hands to help myself. In this exercise, to get my feet to the same height, I have to attach the bands in different places due to the disparity in leg strength and differences in contractures.
Now, Lena, try to do 20 repetitions of this exercise. Okay? Remember to breathe properly.
Every few sessions, we try to increase the number of repetitions or lengthen the exercise time if I notice that my strength is improving.
8, 9, 10 more.
We are very careful not to overwork the muscles.
6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Bravo. For the next exercise, we'll connect our knees together. There are numerous exercises that a person who was barely able to move their legs at the beginning of the film, as you witnessed, can now perform. In this exercise, try pushing your feet towards me. Try to hit my hands with your feet. 1, 2. Go for it. Very good. Remember to breathe. Great. 7, 8, 9, 10.
A small change, we are adding another band and moving on to abdominal muscle exercises.
1, 2, 3, and inhale. 1, 2.
Don't be fooled, even though the movement is small, the exercise requires a lot of effort from me. I am trying to maintain muscle tension for as long as possible. For convenience, we have raised my arms higher and used stiff strings. I am also using my hands to feel even more tension.
Breathe. 1, 2, 3, and inhale. Move on to the oblique abdominal muscles. Perform this movement for 30 seconds. Once to the left, once to the right. That's right. And we keep breathing, of course, at your own pace. Very good.
Abdominal muscle training is tiring but very important. The rehabilitation session is actually the only time I can stimulate my abdomen to work. Now, on to the next accessory and new exercise. We are using a hip belt to relieve pressure on the hips. I am working on my abdominal muscles while also gaining a new type of movement.
Now, Lena, perform hip movements. Anything you can do.
I am trying to lift and move my hips in different directions. Without this relief, I wouldn't be able to do it independently.
And now to the right and to the left.
In every session, we look for positions in which I can do something new, use muscles that were or are dormant. Pragma gives us unlimited possibilities in this regard. The most important thing is creativity and the physiotherapist's willingness. Additional elements such as a rehabilitation table come in handy. In our case, we use a massage table with additional adjustments.
Now, for the next exercise, try to press your heels against the table. You're attempting to lift your entire upper body. Engage your abdominal muscles. Try to pull yourself up on the bar. Activate all the muscles at once. Abdominal muscles, back muscles, leg muscles. You're working the entire muscle group.
In this position, I am trying to engage all muscle groups. We added several accessories, loops and bands that relieve the head, and a bar on which I am trying to pull up. Since I have a weaker left hand, we used a glove to help me hold the bar. I feel like almost all of my muscles are working at once. This feeling is very pleasant. What's most satisfying is that no one is helping me with this movement. That gives me awareness of how much strength I have and motivates me to engage more in therapy. Now, let's move on to neck muscle exercises. In the case of SMA, keeping these muscles in good shape is particularly important. The neck is delicate, and the nervous system responsible for controlling the whole body passes through it. It's worth spending a few minutes strengthening it.
And now, try to lift your head as high as possible, and then put your head down.
We can use the glisten loop for these exercises, moving forward and backward. And then left and right. Finally, circling the head. Now, one of the most important functions of Pragma: vertical position with elastic relief. It's worth noting that despite the simplicity of this solution, it was first implemented in the Pragma System. Let's start with putting on the vertical vest. It's most comfortable to do it while lying down. Properly fitting all the elements of the vest is crucial. Later adjustments will be more difficult, but still possible. Comfort is very important to me. People in wheelchairs in a vertical position feel the force of gravity especially strongly. With a poorly adjusted vest, pain would likely appear quickly. The Pragma manufacturer tested various materials and vest designs for many years and achieved perfection. I feel comfortable even after a long time in this position, but most importantly, I feel safe. For many people, including myself, a sense of safety is key. Instead of fearing a fall, I can focus on rehabilitation and movement.
Okay. Now push yourself forward and backward, and try to straighten your arms at the elbows.
Just achieving a vertical position is important for health. It's a natural position necessary for the proper functioning of our organs.
We'll count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop. Take a break.
By adjusting the lift height, we increase or decrease the pressure of our feet on the ground. We do this carefully because, as I mentioned, my right foot is rotated and too much pressure would cause me pain. Fortunately, we can adjust not only the level of relief, but also the elasticity of the rubber bands to perfection. We do several exercises that stimulate muscle movement in our feet. We try to engage our entire lower limbs in the work. In a vertical position, I also do exercises for my upper limbs and back. It's important because they work differently than you may have seen before. In my case, jumping is out of the question. As you can see, jumping is not necessary for comprehensive rehabilitation and is often not recommended. Although I enjoy the vertical position and it brings me a lot of joy, I am aware that it is not the most important thing for my rehabilitation. In this context, it is worth mentioning something important. Even in such low apartments like the one we are in, tall and heavy people will be able to obtain full elastic relief thanks to the Pragma System, which allows matching the suspension type to each person. See footage of other patients and various suspension methods. Although I don't need it because I can hold my head quite well, I want to show you another important function of Pragma: the ability to relieve the head in an upright position. We use glisten loops for this purpose. Now, onto the exercises in a sitting position, for which I use a vertical vest and relief.
All right, Lena. Now lean against the table with your hands and try to perform this exercise. Push your hips forward and try to straighten up.
By placing my hands on the massage table, I try to control my position by tensing my muscles. Now, I'm trying to push my hips forward. This exercise is used to stretch the elbow contracture, and I perform it in a sitting position. I'll mention exercises in the quadruped position, but you have to see it demonstrated by other patients. We haven't decided to try it yet in my rehabilitation because I'm apprehensive, as in the past, various therapists have tried it, and I remember those attempts poorly. I have never used Pragma for this purpose, but I will probably decide to do so soon. For now, I'm preparing for it mentally. There are 2 accessories for quadruped exercises: a 4-point harness and a clip with an extensive adjustment system. Patients who cannot hold their head in this position can use the clip and apply relief. As you can see, Pragma has a beneficial impact on my therapy, but of course, other patients can use it too. That's why more and more centers decide to use this equipment. It has a vast number of applications, and it can be combined with a treadmill, an elliptical machine, or a trampoline for gait re-education. In reality, it's up to us to give Pragma our ideas and application and what benefits we will derive from it. I hope that through this recording, you've seen how versatile and helpful Pragma is, and in my case, it's indispensable in daily rehabilitation. I believe that if I had the opportunity to undergo rehabilitation with the Pragma system faster as a child, my condition would be much better. I wish that all rehabilitation centers, facilities, and hospitals have the Pragma system installed soon, so that people like me, affected by severe neurological conditions, can use it every day to gain strength and functionality. Thank you for the opportunity to share, and best regards.